Discovery Channel. You're here with Cindy, Laura, Mai Nhia. Today we're going to be exploring about ethnic group known as the Hmong. The Hmong are an ethnic group that comes from the mountainous regions of Laos, China, Vietnam, and Thailand. The history of it stretches back to at least 5,000 years ago, beginning in the fertile valley of the Yellow River in ancient China. Still today, many of the history that happened is still a mystery because much of it was never documented. However, the traditions and cultures of the Hmong is still living today, and they are among the United States.
In Chinese history, the earliest documented evidence of the Hmong society appeared around 2700 AD. The Hmong were known as Mao or Mao Tzu to the Chinese, which meant savage or something less than human.
Here you're going to be witnessing a Chinese person in the ancient year calling Hmong people Mao Tzu. The Hmong considered the term to be offensive. Therefore, the Hmong decided to call themselves Hmong, which means to be free.
Around 1850, the Hmong had enough of China's childish games. They immigrated out of China to Southeast Asia. Many of them settled in Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, and Laos. Most of the Hmong that lived in Laos lived in the mountains.
When the Vietnam War began in the late 1950s, many Hmong families had to flee their homes in the mountains and escape to Thailand. They had to cross the Mekong River in order to get to Thailand, and in some cases, families had to drown their little kids to keep them from crying so they wouldn't be caught from the Vietnamese or the communists. When they finally reached Thailand, Thailand held many refugee camps for the Hmong communities, which helped them get to America. Next, the Hmong tradition can be seen as strange, but they aren't as different compared to other ethnicities. The Hmong language is divided into two main dialects. Green Hmong and White Hmong are the two main dialects that are spoken by the Hmong today. The differences in the dialects are due to the geographic separation in the Hmong living in China.
In Laos, the Hmong lived closely together and eventually learned to speak and understand the different dialects that were spoken. The differences in the White and Green Hmong dialects are similar to the kinds that exist between British and American English today.
Nhớ xong, 그녀는 chào.
Nói xong con này,
그녀 정치야, 다시 나가 봐야지.
cô mua clay thì lúc bạc clay nó.
Có phải đá đây đó? Các thứ này các món này, bây giờ.
Bây giờ món này mà.
그녀 món đời.
Yeah. Em có mấy huri cao.
그녀 Mai Nhia ba cái luôn đây này.
Có mấy mạch lưới lông nè.
Mày đó. Trong xe tao báo cáo ok.
Trong xe
Xin chào đó.
Traditionally, a Hmong name was simply the given name. People usually introduce themselves by giving their name and the clan in which they are from. The Hmong clans, or known as last names, as well are Cha, Ju, Ching, Fa, Her, Ta, Ka,
Ku, Gu, Li, Lo, Mo, Ba, Ta, Va, Shong, Vu, and Ya are also the other clan names. For traditional Hmong, making direct eye contact is considered rude and inappropriate. A person may look down or away rather than looking directly at a person's eye when speaking. Traditional marriages in the Hmong culture is quite different. There are various ways of how a couple can get together. They include mutual consent, parental arrangement, and elopement. Bride capture and forced marriage was also another method that was seen in the old days.
Bride wealth or bride price is the negotiation between both families for the price of a bride. Yes, in the Hmong tradition, the groom will have to pay a hefty amount of money to the bride's family. The amount symbolizes family status, the bride's value in the family, and promised security in the marriage. In Laos, many men could marry many wives as well. However, Hmong are restricted in marrying someone in their own clan. It is simply known as tabooing if someone was to marry someone with the last name, even if they weren't related in any way.
Hmong people today are spread out all over the world, but there are high concentrations of Hmong located in the U.S. today. That is because in the 1970s, the United States agreed to accept thousands of Hmong refugees. At least 200,000 Hmong people reside in areas of Wisconsin, the Twin Cities, and California today.
For the older generation of Hmong, living in America can be a terrible and lonely journey. They are far from their homeland, far from the good life in the beautiful hills of Laos. They have suffered the ravages of war and loss and is living in a strange country with different values and a language they will struggle to learn.
Culture change and modern technology has shocked many Hmong people. Most can no longer practice a good culture. Difficulty learning English has made finding jobs and education challenging for those who came from Laos. Many have felt isolated and discriminated against. Crime, depression, and poverty are rife in the Hmong neighborhoods. However, many Hmong still embrace the culture and the Hmong strong innate work ethic and is striving for better lives and trying hard to adapt.
Still today, the Hmong culture is celebrated and expressed many times throughout a year. The Hmong New Year, held in November through December, is typically the time when the Hmong reunite as a whole and express their culture by wearing the traditional clothing, playing traditional games, and eating typical foods that Hmong people make. Dancing and singing can also be seen at the event. The Hmong living in the United States today are still facing many challenges adapting, but many are succeeding in overcoming the struggles.
Today, many Hmong call America their home, just like any other American, with the Hmong people learning English as a second learner and learning American ways. What is left of the Hmong people? In this free country, the Hmong people had to bury away their identities. Will the next generations fully adapt to American culture and exclude their own? Will the Hmong people cultures vanish completely? Will their unique history and strict culture be swallowed by the Americans' culture like every other ethnic group that has migrated into the United States? One thing for certain is, the newer generations won't forget where their ancestors and families originated from.
Thanks for tuning in with the Discovery Channel.